everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us. Today we're going on an adventure, into the world of owls.
Howl.
Owls! Those mysterious creatures of the night. We're basing this deep dive on a YouTube video called Mysterious Owl Facts You Can't Miss.
Ooh.
And I'm already super intrigued. Owls often get pegged as, spooky or wise. But I have a feeling there's a whole lot more to them than meets the eye.
You're absolutely right. And what's so fascinating is that owls have this incredibly long history.
Oh, yeah.
They're one of the oldest bird species we know of.
Wow.
Going back over 60 million years.
60 million years. So they were like soaring around when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Exactly.
That's incredible. But I'm curious, do they have anything in common with the birds we see today?
You know more than you might think. They actually share ancestry with birds we see every day, like chickens and turkeys.
Really?
However, over millions of years, owls have developed some incredibly unique traits.
That makes sense. The video mentioned two main types of owls. Strigidae, the typical owls, and Titonidae, the barn owls.
Yes.
What sets them apart?
Well, their faces are a dead giveaway.
Okay.
Strigidae have those classic round faces, while Titonidae sport a more heart-shaped face.
Interesting.
And this diversity speaks to just how vast the owl world is.
Wow.
There are over 240 different species of owls out there.
Over 240. Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what other kinds of variations are out there, right?
Right.
But speaking of distinct features, we can't talk about owls without mentioning those incredible eyes.
Of course.
They're huge, captivating, and a little bit mysterious, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And here's a fact that might surprise you.
Okay.
Their eyes aren't shaped like ours. Instead of being round, they're actually tube-shaped.
Tube-shaped. Now, that's something I didn't know.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with their ability to turn their heads almost all the way around?
It's exactly why they can do that. Their eyes are fixed in place so they can't move them like we can.
Oh, wow.
That's why they've evolved that incredible head rotation of 270 degrees.
Yeah.
Imagine not being able to move your eyes at all.
I can't even imagine.
It really makes you think about how differently owls must experience the world compared to us.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's like they've traded eye movement for head movement.
Exactly.
And speaking of their eyes, the video pointed out that an owl's eye color can actually tell you something about their hunting habits.
That's right.
Is that right?
Dark brown eyes typically belong to owls who hunt at night.
Okay.
Orange eyes indicate a preference for twilight hunting.
Gotcha.
And yellow eyes mean they're active during the day.
So it's not just an aesthetic feature, it's a clue to their evolutionary adaptations.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how every detail about an owl ties back to their role as a hunter.
Right.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about sound.
Okay.
Everyone knows owls for their iconic hoots, but I bet there's more to it than that, isn't there?
There's definitely more to the story. For starters, not all owls hoot. Barn owls, for example, actually communicate through a series of screams and hisses.
Screams. Now that doesn't sound very owl-like.
I know, right?
I was expecting something a little more, hooty.
It definitely challenges our preconceived notions about owl sounds.
For sure.
Even for those owls that do hoot, their calls serve many purposes.
Okay.
They use hoots to communicate with each other, stake out their territory, and warn off potential rivals.
So it's like they have a built-in alarm system and a neighborhood chat group all rolled into one.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. It makes them seem a lot less mysterious and a lot more like us,
Right.
using communication to navigate their world.
Exactly.
But all right, let's dive into the slightly less glamorous part of owl life, their diet.
Okay.
That video mentioned they swallow their prey whole. Can you even imagine?
It's true, and they consume a surprising amount.
Right.
The video stated that a barn owl can eat an average of 1,000 mice per year.
1,000 mice. That's a lot of swallowing whole.
It is.
It makes me wonder how their digestive system handles all of that.
Right.
Do they have some kind of super stomach?
They actually have two stomachs.
Oh.
One is for digesting food, while the other separates out all the indigestible parts like fur and bones.
So it's like they have a built-in filtering system. That's incredible.
Exactly.
Wow.
The whole process takes about 10 hours.
Okay.
Then they cough up a pellet containing all the leftover bits.
Oh.
It's fascinating, even if it's a little bit gross to imagine.
Definitely fascinating. Thinking about all that food makes me wonder about the size range of different owl species.
Yeah?
The video mentioned the elf owl, which is only about 5 inches tall and mainly eats insects and spiders.
Yeah, they are incredibly tiny. It's hard to believe they're even related to those large owls with powerful talons.
Right. And speaking of large owls, there's the extinct Ornithomegalonyx,
Yes.
the largest owl ever recorded, reaching a height of over 1 meter.
Imagine an owl taller than some dogs.
I know. It really makes you wonder what kind of creatures were on their menu, doesn't it?
It does. We know they lived on the island of Cuba, which had unique and now extinct fauna.
Oh,
Right. So it's a puzzle waiting to be solved.
it certainly sparks the imagination. Thinking about their diet and hunting brings us to another aspect of owls that the video touched upon.
Okay.
Their cultural significance.
Yeah.
It seems like they haven't always had the best reputation, have they?
You're right, they haven't.
Yeah.
In some cultures, like parts of South Africa, owls are associated with witchcraft and death, largely due to their nocturnal habits.
I see.
There's this historical belief that they're companions to witches and sorcerers lurking in the shadows.
So they've been linked to some pretty dark imagery.
Yeah.
But the video also mentioned a tribe in Kazakhstan where female shamans actually try to connect with owl spirits.
Absolutely. It highlights the fact that our interpretations of nature
Yeah.
can vary drastically depending on cultural background and beliefs.
It's a good reminder that we should always approach learning about the natural world with an open mind.
I couldn't agree more.
And speaking of interpretations, one thing that's important to remember is that in most places, including the U.S., it's actually illegal to keep owls as pets without the proper licensing.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah,
Owls play a vital role in the ecosystem, and it's important to protect them.
exactly.
They're not meant to be kept in cages.
They belong out in the wild where they can thrive and contribute to the natural balance.
For sure.
I'm loving all these owl facts. What about you? What stood out to you the most so far?
It's difficult to choose just one thing,
Yeah.
but I think what's really capturing my attention is how owls have adapted to their environment in such specialized ways.
Right.
From those tube-shaped eyes to their silent flight,
Yeah.
they're incredibly well designed for their role as nocturnal predators.
I totally agree. It's like they're living examples of evolution at work.
Exactly.
And to think we've only just begun to scratch the surface of the owl world.
You're absolutely right. And there's one more thing I find absolutely fascinating about owls.
Okay, I'm all ears. What else have these incredible creatures got up their feathery sleeves?
We talked about owls' powerful talons, but their incredible grip is just one part of the story. What's truly fascinating is their silent flight.
Silent flight.
It's all thanks to the unique structure of their feathers.
Silent flight is definitely cool, but I need a little help wrapping my head around it.
Sure.
How do feathers help a bird fly silently?
It's all about reducing noise. Owls have evolved these special adaptations that minimize the sound their wings make as they slice through the air. Take their leading-edge feathers, for instance. They have tiny serrations, almost like teeth on a comb.
Serrations like little teeth, what do those do?
Those serrations actually break up the airflow over the wing, preventing the harsh whooshing sounds you might hear with other birds.
So it's like they have built-in silencers on their wings.
Exactly. But that's not all. The trailing edge feathers have another trick up their sleeve. They're fringed with these soft, fluffy filaments that act like a muffler absorbing any remaining sound.
Wow, so it's a two-part system, serrations to break up the airflow and fringes to absorb any leftover sound. Nature's design is pretty ingenious, isn't it?
It really is. And there's one more adaptation that contributes to their silent flight.
Okay.
The tops of their wings have this velvety texture that further helps to dampen sound.
So they have velvety wings for silent flight. It's like they're wearing noise-canceling headphones. No wonder they're such effective hunters. I mean, imagine if you could sneak up on someone without them hearing a thing.
Exactly. It gives them a huge advantage. And it really makes you appreciate how owls are so much more than just spooky night birds, doesn't it?
It does.
And a whole lot of amazing science and engineering packed into their design.
I'm completely with you there. This is blowing my mind. I always thought owls were cool, but learning about all these intricate adaptations just elevates them to a whole new level of awesome.
Speaking of design, we were talking about those powerful talons earlier, but their grip strength is just one piece of the puzzle. Think about it. If you're swooping down on prey at night, you need to catch it quickly and efficiently.
You definitely don't want to miss your target in the dark.
Exactly. And owls have evolved this incredible mechanism where their outer toe can actually rotate backward.
Wait, rotate backward, like some kind of owl version of a double-jointed thumb.
That's the great way to put it. This backward rotation allows them to get an even stronger grip,
Wow.
letting them hold onto their prey with incredible force.
So it's not just strength, it's agility too. They can adapt their grip depending on the size and shape of their prey.
Absolutely. It's another example of how owls are perfectly adapted for their role as nocturnal predators. Every detail of their anatomy works together to make them incredibly efficient hunters.
Okay, so we've covered their eyes, their ears, their wings, their talons. What about their beaks? What makes them unique?
Well, an owl's beak is incredibly sharp and hooked, perfect for tearing into prey. But here's something you might not have realized. It's actually pretty small compared to the size of their head.
That's interesting. Why would they have such a small beak?
It all goes back to their facial disc, remember?
Dang.
That flat face that helps to funnel sound to their ears.
Right, like a satellite dish.
Exactly. A large beak would actually get in the way of that amazing sound collecting system.
That's true.
So having a small beak allows them to maintain their exceptional hearing while still being able to tear into their meals.
It's like everything about their anatomy is perfectly optimized for hunting.
It really is a testament to the power of natural selection. But, we've talked a lot about the science behind owls, but that video also touched on some of the cultural beliefs surrounding them.
Right.
And not all of those beliefs are positive, are they?
That's right. We talked about how some cultures see them as omens of death or bad luck.
Exactly.
Ah,
And while it's easy to dismiss those beliefs as superstitions, it's important to remember that they often come from a place of misunderstanding or fear of the unknown.
yeah,
Think about it. Owls are nocturnal, so people don't see them as often,
right.
which might add to their mystique and the stories that surround them.
That makes sense. But we also talked about cultures that revere owls as symbols of wisdom and knowledge.
Right, like the Kazakh tribe we mentioned, where female shamans connect with owl spirits. It highlights the fact that our perceptions of animals can be so different depending on our cultural backgrounds and experiences.
It's a good reminder that we should always approach learning about the natural world with an open mind.
I couldn't agree more. We should try to understand animals on their own terms, rather than projecting our own fears or biases onto them.
And speaking of approaching things with an open mind, that video revealed some pretty surprising owl behaviors. Like, did you know that some owls can actually swim?
I did. It's not their favorite way to get around,
Right.
but if they need to, they can paddle pretty well.
I guess that makes sense if they live near water and have to catch prey there. But can you imagine seeing an owl swimming? It would be quite a sight.
It would be. And speaking of surprising behaviors, did you know that owls don't actually build their own nests?
Wait, they don't build nests. What do they do instead?
They're what's called opportunistic nesters.
Okay.
That means they take over nests that have been abandoned by other birds like hawks or crows.
So they're resourceful too.
They're definitely adaptable. And here's another interesting tidbit.
Okay.
Owls prioritize feeding their strongest offspring first.
Really? That seems a bit harsh.
It might seem that way, but from an evolutionary perspective, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It ensures that at least some of their young survive, even if food is scarce.
I guess that's nature's way of ensuring the survival of the fittest. It's a reminder that the natural world can be a pretty tough place.
It certainly can be. But it's also a place of incredible beauty, diversity, and resilience. And owls are perfect examples of that.
It's amazing how much we've learned about owls from just one YouTube video. Who knew there were so many fascinating facts packed into those 10 minutes?
It really shows you that you can find knowledge and inspiration in the most unexpected places. It's all about being curious and open to learning something new.
I'm definitely feeling inspired to keep learning and exploring the world around me.
That's the spirit. After all, there's always more to discover. Who knows what other fascinating creatures we'll encounter along the way?
I can't wait to find out. You know, it really is a never-ending journey of discovery, isn't it? And speaking of journeys, I wanted to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the incredible age of owls.
Yes, 60 million years is an incredibly long time to have existed on Earth.
It makes you wonder, how have they managed to survive for so long? What's their secret?
Well, adaptability is key. They've had to be incredibly resilient considering all the changes our planet has undergone over millions of years.
Just think about it. They've lived through ice ages, volcanic eruptions, even mass extinctions, and yet here they are, still thriving.
It's a testament to their ability to adapt and flourish in a variety of environments. They've made homes everywhere, from dense forests and wide-open deserts to tropical rainforests and even the frozen tundra.
That's remarkable. It explains why they're found all over the world.
And their adaptability isn't just about their physical traits either, it's about their behavior.